What would you do if the impossible appeared right in front of you? Today's story comes from someone who says exactly that happened. Welcome to Lorekeeper Files, where real people share their unexplained experiences. Today's entry comes from Alice in Vermont, who experienced something she still can't explain. This takes place in the late 90s in a small neighborhood in northern Vermont. When I was around the age of 9, I had an experience that I believed to be real and not just a dream. I woke up in the middle of the night, cozy in bed, and feeling like I could just close my eyes and doze off again. But I had a nagging feeling to get up. Without thinking about it, I rolled quietly out of my bed and stood up. In my mind, a picture flashed of the doorway to my basement. It was like I was in two places at once, both staring across my dark room and downstairs seeing the basement doorway illuminated softly by a few dim lights near the bottom of the stairs. I thought, there's a bunch of people in the basement. It was like there was a bunch of people all talking at once, but I wasn't hearing sounds. It's very hard to describe. I felt conversations murmuring excitedly. My body began to move toward my bedroom door, and the next thing I remember, I was standing at the top of the basement steps. There were 2 or 3 sets of lights in the basement, but only one set was turned on. Most of the basement was dark except for one small area. The conversations hushed suddenly. Then I sensed excitement and happiness, like the feeling of a surprise party seconds before someone yells, "Surprise!" I hesitated, but then felt compelled to keep going. I tiptoed quietly down the wooden stairs, nervous yet excited. I stooped over to see past a small overhang of the ceiling and froze. Looking back at me were 3 little people. They held me with their gaze and beckoned me to come down and see them. They impressed upon me that I was safe and not to worry. They wanted to see me and to show me something. The next thing I know, myself and these 3 little people were standing in a circle around a stack of cardboard boxes. The stack of boxes was being used as a tabletop so they could have me look at what I think was a piece of white paper with drawings on it. It was like I blinked and we were all standing there together. I don't remember walking down the rest of the stairs. They had brown, soft, leathery skin and large, twinkling, beautiful black eyes. They could smile at me with their eyes, and they seemed genuinely delighted to see me, like they remembered me and I didn't remember them. They had small mouths, barely anything for a nose, and I didn't see any ears. Their heads were large and heavy looking, and their necks, arms, and legs were thin. They asked me a lot of questions and had me tell them about whatever was on this piece of paper. It seemed like it was a technical drawing of some kind. In the middle of my visit with them, I suddenly heard footsteps coming down the hall, and panic gripped my chest. It was my mom. She was whispering my name into the dark, wondering where I was, and coming towards the basement door. I was scared for my mom. If she came down here and saw this, she would have a nervous breakdown. She was fragile emotionally, and at the ripe old age of 9, I was very used to worrying about her feelings and reactions to things. I saw her legs coming down the basement stairs. "What are you doing down here?" And then she saw us. I vividly remember her eyes and mouth, terror-stricken and ready to scream. She was looking at one of her little girls in the basement in the middle of the night with 3 creatures. Her mouth opened wide to scream, and suddenly she froze, like someone hit the pause button on the remote. And she stayed like that for a few seconds, long enough for it to scare me a little. All of the beings were quietly staring at her, unfazed. "Mom, please don't be scared," I said. Suddenly she began to move. Her face returned to normal, and she stared for a moment. Then she turned around slowly and made her way back up the stairs silently. I knew they had somehow stopped her and put her into this trance-like state. They let me know she would not remember, and I felt reassured by this. I heard her return to her room, and the house in the basement fell quiet. The beings asked me if I'd like to go somewhere with them, and I remember being scared at the thought of this. But again, they reassured me, and away we went. I don't remember leaving, traveling, or arriving at our destination, which was my father's house about 45 minutes away. I saw my dad, who was in a trance of some kind, and I saw another creature that hovered or floated near me. I remember feeling cared for, and I had the distinct impression that they had been visiting my dad since he was a little boy. After visiting my dad, they took me home and instructed me to return to my bed and close my eyes. I fell asleep quickly, trying to remember every detail that I could about the encounter. These same child-side aliens would appear to me in similar circumstances throughout my life. Always dreamlike, but never truly a dream. I hope you enjoyed the tale of my encounter. I've experienced UFO sightings, hauntings, and other alien-related things all of my life. This was just one of many. Warmly, Alice in Vermont. Before we close tonight's file, I'd like to thank Alice from Vermont for sharing her story with us. It takes courage to tell an experience that others might not understand, and we're grateful she trusted the Lorekeeper community with hers. I'm Becca D, and this has been the first entry in Lorekeeper Files. Be sure to like, follow, comment, and share, and if you have a story you'd like featured in a future episode, send it in. Until next time, Lorekeepers, stay curious.